Alrighty, and we are live. Excuse my man spreading throughout this video. What can I say? I'm an alpha male filled with testosterone. But in this video, I'm going to teach you the lazy way to get rich with dropshipping. And it's the exact way I would start a new dropshipping store today as a business owner that does not have 8 to 10 hours a day I can spend on one individual new business. And if you're someone who has a 9 to 5, if you're in college, if you're in high school, and you also only have a few hours a day you can dedicate to your store, this is exactly what you should be doing to get results in the fastest amount of time. And that is through the keyword of leverage. Leveraging other people's time to make you money and becoming a boss, a CEO, who leads and manages a team to row them all in the same direction so you accomplish the goal of building something great, because you can only accomplish so much on your own. Now, the reason why I'm qualified to talk about this is I did have an automation dropshipping agency, which means I managed over 100 different stores at the same time, testing products every single week on all these stores, testing, building websites, finding new products, and scaling for 100 plus clients, which meant I had to build a team of 20 elite operators in a variety of different categories. Voice crack. I'm going to leave it in a variety of different categories that all knew their stuff. And I'm going to teach you how to hire those people, how much you should be paying them, how you should train them. Basically, every single thing, the whole behind the scenes. This is stuff that you are not going to learn anywhere else, because most people did not have this level of scale where they're testing that many products. Like the elite top dropshippers usually have 1 to 2 stores and maybe they're testing 5 products a week. We were testing 50 to 100 products every single week at a high quality with multiple ads, multiple product pages, multiple everything. Now, you don't need to be at that level, but I'm going to teach you how to do it at your level, which is, okay, I have 1 store instead of 100. So what is the lean operation I should have to maximize my time, productivity, and maximize my results and get results in the fastest amount of time? There's a chopper incoming.
Get to the chopper.
Gun, get off my lawn, you damn choppers. It's the FBI. They're coming for me. They know I've been making too much money and I don't pay my taxes. There's nothing like evading your taxes, especially when you live in Miami. That's just the name of the game. But let's get into step 1. How do you build an elite team that runs the business for you? I believe the first step to doing that is you need to have a basic level of understanding of the different skills of dropshipping. Because if you don't have a basic level of understanding, then you can't possibly hire other people because you won't know what a talented person is. How can I know who's a good website developer if I've never really built a website, or I don't even know what a good website looks like? I have no frame of reference. And to give you a real life scenario, I actually built a social media app that I'm still running today. And when I first went to get that app built, I am not a coder. I don't know anything about coding apps online. I actually had a social life in high school. I did reasonably well with girls, and I got laid after high school, but that's besides the point. I mean, I did well. I was captain of the soccer team. Still did terrible with women, but whatever. So I didn't know anything about coding, which meant when I went to find my first team to develop this app into an MVP, I went on to Upwork. I hired a team that had a good portfolio, paid them about $10,000, and after 6 months, they wasted my time. They built a piece of shit, and I had to start from scratch because I didn't know how to hire. So when you're in a situation where you've never built anything and you don't have any basics or just basic level of understanding about that skill, it's nearly impossible for you to hire someone that's good. It's going to be very challenging. So what I would recommend is first analyzing, what do I need to get good at? Let me first try it out myself so I can learn a little bit of the nuances, and then I will outsource it. And there's certain things that even when you get into this game for years, I wouldn't outsource. Specifically, the things that grow your business. The things that make your boat go faster are usually the things you want to always have control of. Even if when you have 2 to 3 hours a day, that's where your 2 to 3 hours a day should go. And in those specific categories, it's your advertising, your media buying, and usually your offers. Usually you want to be the one that's handling that, and then everything else that maintains the business, that maintains the boat, outsource it. And that's going to be your customer service, a lot of times product research, website design, copywriting, all that stuff. Now, sure, some of those areas can make you money, and usually the first thing you want to outsource that's going to take up a lot of your time when you start to scale is your customer service and order fulfillment, and it's very easy to find VAs. But then you want to get to the point where you can outsource nearly everything, to the point where media buying, sure, you can find a media buyer. I find that it's so much easier to honestly handle it yourself, and that should be the thing that you handle yourself. The things that grow the business is you, and that's my responsibility. And usually the best dropshippers in the world today are just the best marketers. They're just the best media buyers and marketers. They understand how to create new ads, how to create new offers, and how to scale with paid ads. Everything else they outsource. They do not handle any customer service emails. You will not see someone who's making 7 figures a year doing any of that stuff, doing their own product research, any of that. They have a team. So how do you get to that level? Well, first, you need the basic level of understanding. How do you get that? You need a blueprint. You need a step-by-step guide on how to get good at each skill. How do you accumulate this blueprint? Well, there's 2 ways. One, you either pay someone who's already done the whole blueprint, that already has a successful system that other people that were in your shoes, beginners, have used to gain results. And you just learn their system to a T, get good, try it out for a month or 2, then start hiring people. Or you do what most people do, and this is why no one really succeeds in dropshipping and 99% of people fail. You just watch videos like this on YouTube, and then you try to gather bits and pieces from different people and make the giant hodgepodge of a strategy, and then eventually you build a blueprint where it's Ethan's Facebook ad strategy with Camille Sitar's product research strategy, and we'll try these all together, and that blueprint's unproven. You don't know if it's going to work. You're just trying to gather the best of the best from everybody, but those strategies aren't meant to be together. They're not supposed to complement each other. What you start to realize after a year of, oh, Ethan does his product research this way because he does his ad strategy this way. They're supposed to be linear. They are working together. But if I use this guy's strategy with Ethan's product research strategy, oh, it doesn't fit. Those puzzle pieces don't fit together. And you're just realistically going to be in the same place after all of this work. Because most people, when they're starting, those 2 to 3 hours they have to dedicate to their dropshipping business is wasted because all they're doing is trying to learn and gather information. You should not be spending that much time gathering information. Just pay someone that already has the information laid out for you in a coherent order that you should follow, because gathering all that information is going to take you months and months of time. And even after all that months and months of time, you don't even know if that information is good because you haven't even really tried it out and you haven't trialed and errored it. So, in my opinion, fastest way, and I know this is the fastest way, go through a course, go through a coaching program, go through whatever. The fastest way to learn is always coaching, because then you get the blueprint and you get someone who's coaching you on what you're doing right and wrong with it, because when you learn something for the first time, you're always going to do it wrong. Like, let's be honest. When you learn any new skill, were you ever perfect? Were you a master? No. It took you lots of practice, and usually you're having a coach who's teaching you, okay, this is how you get better. Like at any skill, sports, for instance. I was a soccer player. I played semi-pro. And if it wasn't for my knee, I could have been making it pro, and I wouldn't be making these stupid videos on the internet. I only got to the 5th division of U.S. soccer, so it was never going to happen. But I'm 6'3". A lot of people are surprised when I say I'm 6'3", because, bro, I'm all legs. Man, if my shorts were half as short as they are now, I probably could lift double the amount of weight. They're just weighing me down. I am 6'3". But I was a goalkeeper, and yeah, when I first started soccer, I was terrible. I couldn't kick a ball 10 yards, and I had to have a coach correcting me on my technique, and I would watch YouTube videos on how to kick a soccer ball, and I thought I was doing it right. But then when I got a coach who was actually looking at what I was doing, then he's like, no, you're doing this wrong, your foot's not pivoting in this way, you're actually kicking the ball in the wrong spot. And I couldn't see that. And I also didn't know what I didn't know. And that's going to be probably the number one obstacle you have. You don't know what you don't know because you've never done it before. So the first step, if you want to get rich the lazy way, skip the time it takes to learn all the basic information and gather it together. Have someone that has already gathered the information together in the blueprint, then learn that. Now, once you do have that blueprint, go through and actually try it and apply it yourself so you get the basics and understand at level 1 how to do those skills, which is product research, website design, ad creatives, media buying. Test a few products on your own. Get a feel for it. And once you get that feel, you can't skip this. If you try to skip it, it's not going to work. Then you can start hiring other people. Because I find that either people go down the YouTube rabbit hole or they pay an automation agency like myself. Now, you may be asking yourself, should I pay an automation agency? In my opinion, no. They will not care about your business as much as you will care. The only person who cares about your business is you. When you're an automation agency, your whole model is sign, work with clients for a few months. If you get them results, awesome. If you don't, okay, cool. We can keep signing more clients, repeat. You are just a number. That is the unfortunate reality. This is why most automation agencies, honestly, they're scams. And this is why I got out of the business model. We got about 10 to 20% of people successful, and I felt really shitty that 80% of people we couldn't get results for. And that's just the name of the game. When you have like 2 or 3 months, like usually with automation, you sign up for 3 months. 3 months, while it's an all right amount of time, it's not a whole lot. Like usually it's going to take 6 months, a year to be successful, and that costs a lot of money for people. So with most automation agencies, and even when you do get results, like obviously we did make quite a few people rich, But when we did start to scale, the whole point of an automation agency is you transfer that business that's successful to the investor. So if you invested into us, we got you a successful store, then we transferred to you, guess what happens? You have no experience. You are not a good CEO of that company. You didn't learn any skills. You don't know how to operate things. You don't know how to scale. You just saw us do it, and that's it. So once you get transferred the business, it just goes straight down, Titanic. You're operating the boat, and you don't know even how to drive it. So you have to know how to manage things. You have to know how to do each skill at a level that you can start to at least train people. Because if you don't, you are never going to be successful. You have to have some basic level of competence. If you never get that competence, you can never actually teach others and manage them. And that makes sense. So let's say right now, 9-to-5er, college kid, you now have your blueprint. You've tried it for a month. Now we got some skills. Where do we go from there? All right, let's get into your first hires. This is the only team members you ever need to hire to scale to $100,000, $200,000 a month. You are going to need a product researcher. You're going to need someone who can build websites. You may need a copywriter who writes descriptions and ad scripts. You will need the ad editor, and then maybe you will need a media buyer, and then your customer service order fulfillment rep. That is it. Now, I argue, for me personally, I've always been my own media buyer. That has always been the case. I also will chip in and make my own ad creatives too. I will also sometimes chip in and write my own descriptions and come up with the offers too. Those other things, though, I outsource. So let's go step by step. How do you hire people fundamentally? Now, we can get into each role, but really it's the same process for everything. First, you come up with a job post and you understand, where do I hire people? I think you can hire all these roles using Upwork.com. That is where I've historically gotten the best talent. Or you leverage your network or go onto Discord. And there's a lot of other dropshippers who are struggling and they need money, and you can just give them a job doing product research, and they are more skilled and experienced because they've actually done the process than a VA who has never run a dropshipping store in their life. So those are your two routes, Upwork or Discord, in my opinion. Now, you do a job post and you specify, here's what the role is, here's how much you get paid, here's what success looks like, here are the KPIs, and then after you do your job post, you trial people out for the role. You do a small trial to get a basic understanding of their skill level and where they're at. Because a portfolio, when someone applies, they can lie. They can say they're better than they are. But the real way to know if they're good is just you do the trial, then you can see it live for yourself. Then after the trial, you hire the one or two best people. And a big mistake people make is that you only trial, let's say, 5 people, and then you just hire the best person out of that 5. But really no one was good enough. So you need a certain standard and a certain bar. So if those people don't meet the bar, cool, then we have to keep trialing. Keep trialing. It might take a day, it might take 3 days, it might take a week, it might take 2 weeks. But the biggest mistake I believe people make with hiring is they just hire from whatever pool of people. And that's a lot like, imagine if you were trying to find the perfect wifey and you only went on 5 dates and you had to choose the best out of that 5. But none of them were really that good. So you had to pick the best out of shit. Compared to if you went on 100 dates and you found out what you liked and what was good, then you have a much bigger pool of people, and you can actually have more abundance, and then you're like, oh man, this is actually a tough choice because there's so many good options. You want to have the problem of there's so many good options, not, oh my God, there's no good options, but I need someone, so I have to pick this person. So don't hire for the sake of hiring. You hire quality people that you know will do the job right. You don't hire based on potential. Because I mean, that's honestly probably the biggest mistake I made with my automation agency. We went from 10 clients and then we signed a sales rep, and that sales rep closed so well. We went from 10 clients to 40 clients. We 4x'd our business, and that meant we had to hire people so fast. So we just needed bodies, and we would do job posts, and it was just like, okay, you seem all right. Like, you're better than everyone else. You're not really that good yet. We're going to have to do some training, but we just need people. And because we did it that way, it ended up being a shit show. And that's why I closed the automation agency, because I just couldn't hire people that were good enough fast enough. We scaled too fast. We should have been more sustainable. It's a whole thing. If you want to hear more about it, I can make a video. But that's why I ended up having to shut down, because I sucked at hiring. I was really bad at hiring. I would hire too fast. I would think with everyone I just needed them to be a hard worker, and then I could train them. Potential it means jack shit. And that's why people get fired. If you look at sports teams where they're drafting players, usually it's a lot based on potential, and then potential is what gets you fired. Because potential means nothing at the end of the day. It's what do you have right now? Sure, there's probably certain traits that if they're hardworking, then I can teach them. If they learn fast, then okay, that's great. That's a valuable skill, because then I can, leverage that to teach them more. But you want to hire people ideally that are already competent at the skill, and you don't have to micromanage and constantly train them and teach them, because you don't even have the time to do that. You only have the time to manage them. You don't have the time to also train them, because that takes a lot of time. So that's the basic level. If you're hiring, job post, trial, bring them onto your team, the best people that actually have met your standards, trial them then again for about 2 weeks, see if they're doing their job at a competent level, and if they are, cool. Then hire them full-time, which in this case doesn't mean you're paying them like a salary. Usually you're just going to pay them an hourly rate for every single role, like $5 to $7 an hour. I'll teach you later on this video how to manage all that, but that's where you would start. And then usually do all the communication through a platform like Slack, and then boom, you have a team. So now you know the team, now you know how to hire, so let's get and break it down by individual roles. So now you have your blueprint, and you're starting to test, and you're like, okay, I only have 2 to 3 hours a day. What do I need to do to obviously test efficiently and find a winner? Well, ideally, you need to be testing about 2 to 3 products a week. So how do I do that? Well, that means I need a product researcher that's finding me a lot of products. So at my agency, the way we tested 50 plus products is we had 10 to 15 product researchers that each day were finding 10 products. So if I had 15 researchers, that meant 150 products were coming to my desk every single day. I would comb through that list, and usually about 10% of those products I would approve. So about 15 a day. Now, you don't need that level, because 15 times 7, that's what, 90? You don't need 90 products being approved every single week. For us, we needed that because we had a lot of different stores. When you're starting, you just need to get 2 to 3 products approved a week, which means you just need one researcher. So if you have one researcher who's bringing you 10 products every single week, or every single day, my bad, that's 70 products a week. Now, out of that 70, if you only approve 10%, that's 7 new products that you got on your list to get worked on. So that's enough. You only need one researcher. So with that researcher, how do you go about that process? Well, for product research, you do a job post on Upwork, you trial 5 to 10 people, and just say this: I need you to bring me a list of 10 products. You have a day to do so, and then they will create a spreadsheet, or you give them a spreadsheet. Then you have an SOP video, so a training video, where you teach them, here are the tools, here's how you find products, here's my criteria. Now go ahead, use them, bring me a list, and then whoever brings you a list that matches your standards, where it actually has, let's say, 2 or 3 good products out of those 10, then you bring them on for that trial for 2 weeks. Start to pay them, see if they continually bring you good products every single day. Because the one issue you're going to have when you do these trials, let's say you trial 10 people and you bring on 1 or 2, and you should bring on usually multiple so you can compare, because again, you have no frame of reference of what is a good product researcher. So usually hiring in bunches of 2 is good, because then you can compare who's better. But usually when you do that initial trial, and this should be for free, so they do this, bring you 10 products for free, they'll already have a list of products that were good, that were approved by other people, and then they're just going to copy and paste that list and give it to you and be like, oh yeah, these are the products I found, but really they did no extra research. This is just what they already had, and they know it's good and that you're going to approve them. So just don't fall for that trap. Obviously, you probably will. I've fallen for it too. But just know, once you start to actually work with them for a week, if they bring you crap products, okay, cut them right there. You don't need them. Hire someone else. So that's how you hire product researchers. You do a free trial where they bring you 10 products. Cool. Whoever has good lists, bring onto your team. You give them all the tools. You give them the SOP training videos. In fact, I have a training video on product research, and the way I actually filmed that video is actually in an SOP format, so you could use that video. I actually do send that video to any new product researchers that are trialing at my agency or for my own stores. Like, I have them go through that video, I give them the exact logins, and then yeah, whoever can do it the best and is proved to be competent, I'll bring on. Now, once you bring them on, I use a software called Hubstaff, which records their screens, and then you can see how many hours they're actually doing research, and I pay them hourly. So if someone does 30 hours a week of research, that means 60 hours every 2 weeks of research. I times that by 5. I pay them $300 every 2 weeks. That's how you manage it. Hubstaff is so great. Have them record their screens. If they're not recording the screens, they don't get paid. So usually I tell my researchers 10 products a day is the minimum. I'll give you 6 hours a day to do that. Now, if you give them 8 hours, they're going to take 8 hours. If you take 10 hours, they're going to take 10 hours. So be wary of that. That's Parkinson's law. The amount of time you give to a project is how much time you're going to take. So usually, if you give them 6 hours, they're going to find 10 products in those 6 hours. You only have to pay them $5 an hour, $30. Cool. That's all your product researchers. Now, next step, you need a website guy. Website guy needs to be able to create product page templates that you usually can repeat so that you speed up the time to prepare products. Because usually you want, let's say your product researcher brings you 70 products, 7 are approved. Okay, now those 7 products are moved from the product researcher's list to a master list. And that master list is the list that all of your team has access to. So now once a new product gets added, boom. All right, website guy, start building the website. Now you can use Pagefly, and with Pagefly, that means they could have their own Shopify account where they're building these pages for each product, and then they can just download the file, and then they can add them to your store. or they could just do this on your store automatically. It's up to you. How we had it is because we had hundreds of different accounts and we had to move product pages to hundreds of accounts. We would just prepare a product, get the product page done in Pagefly, download it from Pagefly, upload it to Google Drive, and then whenever my account manager needed to test a new product for a client, they would just download the product page, put it into the client store. You don't need to do that because you just have one store. So your researcher gets their 7 products approved, and when they're getting their products approved, they should already have a supplier link that the website person can use. So they'll import the product to your store, start working on the product page. You should give them templates on here's what a good website looks like, because now you have the frame of reference because you've learned from a program. And again, the more references you get, the easier it is going to be for them to build high converting stores. And the key to building a high converting store is this: good offer, good images, good social proof, good urgency, description, and copyright. That's the priority. So your website guy, obviously, they're going to focus on making it look pretty. That's the 5th most important thing. The real important thing is that your website guy understands your apps and how to split test. So do multiple offers. They need to understand what are good offers versus bad offers. So you should have learned from your main coach or mentor, here's the types of offers that convert the best. BOGO, buy one, get one 50% off, free gifts, bundles, all that stuff. And then tell them with the margins of products, this is how you should do it. Now, if you feel like you can't train someone to do that, then okay, have your website guy build the website, do the copywriting on stuff, and then you handle the offer. Like for me personally, when I test, I'm actually the one who comes up with the offers because I know I'm the best when it comes to that. So there's certain things that you just don't want to outsource, and that when you have your 2 to 3 hours a day you can dedicate, that's just where you're going to put your time, because that's the best way to leverage your time, because those are the highest leverage activities and the highest ROI activities, your return on your investment. So it's up to you. But your website guy will see these products, they'll start building something. You can have them write the description. Honestly, descriptions nowadays are super easy to do. Like for clothing, it's really 1 to 2 sentences. Like the images are what sell clothing. It's all images, social proof, good offer. For problem-solving products, yes, you need a bit more. And for that, that means you have to do market research. You have to have a good ChatGPT prompt that they can use. So they just plug in your product, they plug in some reviews from Amazon, and then ChatGPT can write something that's 80 to 90% of the way there. Then to polish it that extra 10%, look at what your competitors have done that are successful, grab some of their lines, grab some of the lines from their ads, read those reviews, see what other things that you can add on to that description to make it more personalized, because usually that's just the problem with ChatGPT. It can't write personalized copy. But once you get those extra lines and you really tighten things up and you have a good template and format for how you do your product descriptions for problem-solving products. So for me, headline, problem sentence, aggravate the problem, introduce product, second section, second headline, 2 products or 2 sentences about the transformation, the USPs. So once you have my heated knee massager, I'm getting sold. Once you have that, so in this example, transformation sentences would be, once you have our heated knee massager, you'll feel 20 years younger. You'll be able to run, jog, do your favorite sports without being in pain. You'll be able to sleep at night pain-free. So that would be future pacing. So that would be the second section. Then the third section is any other benefits or information your customer needs to know before buying, because your whole description is supposed to handle objections. So maybe it's here's a step-by-step guide of how to use the product, or maybe here's a social proof section, here's why doctors recommend it, or here's a chart that compares our product versus another. There's so many different things. It's a whole video in itself. But your website guy should basically be able to make some great product images, make some good graphics for your problem-solving products, find the best images for your clothing products. That's part of the job. Images. Then they should be able to make a good description for you, just using ChatGPT and doing the basic levels of research. And maybe after you have to train them a little bit so they understand your copy style. So once you bring on someone, have them work on a few products, and you just keep analyzing, keep coaching, keep working with them, and eventually they'll get there. And then from there, descriptions, they add the reviews for the product, add some urgency, and that's it. So that's your website. Now, ads. Ads is the hard part, because ad editors are good ones are a dime a dozen. They're really hard to find. So with ad editors, it's the same process: job post, trial. So here are 2 products. Here's a problem solver, here's a non-problem solver. Here's a clothing product versus a health product. I need you to make it 1 ad for this clothing product, 1 ad for this health product. And then you compare, and this is where you're going to have to do a lot of trials, 10 to 20 different ad editors. And then you're going to see who comes up with the best ad. Now, to make it easier for them to do the trial, you may give them a script to follow. You may also give them some example ads that you like so they understand your style and what you like. And then you should also have some training of, like, here are some best practices. Like, have your hooks this length. Have the music be like this. So for me, I have a pretty detailed document when I hire ad editors as to like how you should make that. And also, when you hire all these different roles, as we mentioned, you need SOPs, standard operating procedures, where you just lay out, here's how you do the job, so they know exactly how to do it without effing up. Because if you don't have these trainings, if you don't have these systems in place, they can't do their job at a high level. Like, they're just going to be freestyling it, and you don't want that. This is why you first started with a blueprint, and ideally, if you invest in the right coaching program like my own, we'll give you SOPs and trainings of how to hire these people and how to train them, what they should be doing, and here's the KPIs to measure. Like with the product researchers, certain KPIs you'd be evaluating is like, how many products are you approving from their list? If product researcher A, 10% of the products get approved, and product researcher B, it's 20%, product researcher B is going to stay on my team while product researcher A might leave. And I find with product researchers, usually after like 2 to 3 months, they get exhausted and they can't find me good new products. So I just keep that in mind. But yeah, on the ad side of things, you're going to have to trial like 10 to 20 people. And then whoever's the best, you'll bring on. And this is where some people will have their ad editors come up with the ad angles and write the scripts and all that stuff. I find the best ad editors are terrible marketers and they have no idea how to do that stuff. So typically, and this is what we did at our agency, we actually had a product researcher, we had a website guy building websites, we had a copywriter who wrote the description, and then he did the research on here are the top ad angles to model, here are the big guy to get off my line.
Get to the chopper. So then our ad guy, he would look at everything, he would look at the top concepts, and then he would say, okay, we need the how-to ad, the problem solution ad, we need all of these different ad styles. We have to get Jack, we have to pump up.
All right, I can't do an Arnold Schwarzenegger. I know.
Pump and iron.
So we had a copywriter who would write the description. He would come up with the exact script. And then he would say to our ad editor, here are the 4 angles we need to do for this product. So how to add, problem, solution, all this stuff. He would write the script out for each angle. And then all our ad editor had to do was just copy and paste the script, find clips for each line. And that's what they're good at. They're good at finding clips. They're good at editing. They're good at making the ad engaging and all that stuff. But they have no idea how to come up with good lines, any of that stuff. That's just not part of their role. Now, you may be able to train an ad editor over time to do that stuff. I found that it was too difficult to do that, and you need to separate the roles out. So to break this down, you have your product researcher, you have your website guy who might also handle copywriting, or you may separate the role where you have a product researcher, the website designer, the copywriter who comes up with all the marketing stuff. Then you have your ad editor who works with your copywriter to have the right script and the right concepts. And then they work on all the ads. And then finally, you would have a media buyer or yourself who downloads all the ads, who then tests that product on Facebook or TikTok. And boom, you can test 2 to 3 products a week with only 2 hours a day at a high quality level with 10 to 12 different ads. And if your website guy is smart, they will split test the offer. So you'll have the best chance of finding a winner in the fastest amount of time by testing 2 to 3 products a week with multiple product pages and offers for each product test with multiple ads. And bada bing, bada boom, you are in business. This is how the top dropshippers, the optimized Asians, because it's always Asians that are killing in dropshipping and have the best systems. This is how they do it. They just do it at a larger scale where they're testing 10 to 20 products a week because they have teams built out. But this is how they build it. They do it at this scale, and then all they do is just vertically just add more people. But this is the base level concept, people. So this is everything that you need. I'm honestly giving you way too much sauce in this video. But when I start a new store, I am starting a new one this year, this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm just going to build a small team of 1 product researcher, 1 website guy, 1 good marketer, copywriter guy from Upwork, 1 good ad editor, and then once we start scaling, I'm going to hire a customer service rep. I'm going to give SOPs. I'm going to give templates of how to respond to each email. I'm going to have an app like Georges that has all of our email, social media, everything where people would talk to us in one inbox so they can respond fast. And that person who handles customer service will also do the order fulfillment every day. So we'll have a training on, okay, here's what you do. Log into CJ Dropshipping or just submit these orders every single day to our supplier so that they automatically will ship it out. Or if you have a private supplier like myself, I'll just add them to the store and then they'll just fulfill orders for me automatically and I don't have to worry about anything. And that's a baller system. That is what you only need to get to $100,000 a month. Crazy. It's getting a little late here in Miami. And I'm glad the sun is down because my people, the white Jews, were not meant for sun. Yeah, I would turn into Larry the Lobster if I was out here for too long. I gotta get my leg day in. You know, it's crazy. I was at Lifetime Fitness and I ran into Fez Warzani. If you may know him, if you were an OG dropshipper, he has the My Sweet Dreams brand. Really cool dude. I think we might play tennis. Hopefully become best friends. But I saw him the other day. I was doing my legs and he walked up to me. He's like, yo, what's up, Ethan? Because I had run into him one time before. And I was like, oh my God. It's really you. I'm fangirling out right now. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I wanted to mention in this video. But yeah, it's just prioritize your time. Your time is best leveraged on the things that grow the business, which is your ads, marketing, media buying. That is it. Everything else should be outsourced. Customer service, order fulfillment, website, product research, all that other stuff. But the way you get good at this is you need to develop SOPs, but developing these SOPs on your own will take you years of experience. I did not have all these SOPs built out for my automation agency at the get-go. It was after a year and a half of running this business and having 20 plus employees that I got to that point. Now, if you're wondering about pay, product researchers, you're going to pay hourly, $5 an hour. That's it. Give them 6 hours a day to do research. Website guys, I usually pay them $40 to $50 per product they prepared of getting the website done, description, all that stuff. Copywriter, same thing, like $40 a description. And usually, like, the copywriter can be the website guy. It's not that hard. If you have templates already in place, like here's our problem-solving template and here's our clothing template. For the ad guy, I usually pay them about $10 to $20 an ad. So they would just get 5 to 10 ads done for every product. I got them to the point where they would do 10 ads every single time, and I'd pay them $10 because it was a bulk deal. If you only pay them to do 4 ads, you're probably going to have to pay a little bit more money. So that's that. And then in terms of your customer service rep, you're going to pay them like $4 or $5 an hour from the Philippines. And then, just give them templates. Again, they'll probably work like 2 to 3 hours a day. So you pay them $15 a day to handle all that stuff, to handle the order fulfillment if you don't already have the private agent. And yeah, that's all to pay. So if you have a budget of like $2,000, you could probably test 10 to 15 products this way because you only need to spend like $100 a product test. So let's say we test 10 products, $100. So that's $1,000 that goes into that. And then the team to prepare those 10 products, to find 10 products, your researcher, you'll probably pay them $150. Your website guy, you may pay $400, 10 times 40. Your ad guy, you may pay $80. So it'll probably be a little bit more. But again, when you're in a situation where you have more time or more money than time, you trade in this instance. And that's what I will do in this instance. So to prepare a product, it should probably cost you around $120 all in, and then testing it is another $100, $150. That's where you want to get, ideally. That's probably the most affordable while still maintaining a high level and actually being able to hire good, high quality people at the same time. But yeah, that's what I learned. After testing hundreds of products every single week for over a year for that many clients, this is the system you would need to build. It sounds easy. The hard part, again, is just developing these SOPs because it takes a lot of time. And if you want to not waste years having to develop this and having to learn these skills on your own, I'd recommend a coach, a mentor, aka me, because no one's going to be as handsome, articulate, good looking, and just care about you more than me. But if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment down below. Try to think if there's anything else on the top of my mind. I think that's it. But that's the key, boys. Leverage, leverage, leverage. Learn the skills for yourself, build the SOPs, build the trainings, and then you can replace yourself by hiring the right team. And then all you would have to do after that is just handle the important stuff of the marketing and then just manage everyone else and make sure they're doing a good job. Or hire a manager who then handles that, which I did. I had my business partner, Harry, currently. When I was doing an automation agency, he was my main guy handling all the management stuff so that I only had to do the marketing. So there's ways you can outsource this and make millions of dollars by only working 1 to 2 hours a day. I hope you enjoyed. I wish you the best in your journey. Let me know if this helped you out.